All right, welcome back. In part one, we covered the basics. Now we're diving deep right into the nerve center. We're talking about the high stakes, super high pressure world of TV production operations. You know, all the tech that makes live TV, well, happen. So, just so we're all on the same page, this is part two of a big 10-part tutorial. It's all based on this really extensive research report called Modern Television Information Technology Requirements from Virtualization Options LLC. And today, we are laser focused on chapter two. We're going to pull back the curtain on everything that goes into production ops. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start right at the core with the network backbone that makes this whole thing tick. Then we'll get into the unique demands of pre-production, take a look inside the actual studio, and then, and this is the fun part, we'll see what it takes to pull off a massive broadcast from way outside the building. Let's kick things off. Look, everything, and I mean everything, in modern production starts with the network. And you've got to understand, we're not just talking about plugging in a few computers here. No way. This is about building a massive data highway that has to handle insane amounts of pressure with, get this, zero room for error. So check this out, 100 gigabits per second. Let that sink in for a second. That's the kind of bandwidth a major TV station's network has to juggle during its busiest moments. To give you an idea of how wild that is, it's basically like downloading a whole bunch of 4K movies. Not in a minute, but every single second. It's just a staggering amount of data. So the big question is, how on earth do you build a network that can handle that kind of load? Well, it's definitely not your standard office network, that's for sure. The best way to think about it is like a supercharged multi-lane freeway built just for video. It's got to handle like 40 to 80 HD video streams at the same time, plus 4K stuff, all without a single traffic jam. To do that, they use something called a non-blocking architecture. Basically, every car on this freeway gets its own private lane. No merging, no slowing down. Plus, it needs these huge memory buffers to deal with what they call bursty traffic. You know, when a ton of video data just shows up all at once. It's got to be ready for anything. Okay, so to make this magical, bottleneck-free system a reality, engineers actually borrow a pretty cool design from the world of data centers. It's called a spine and leaf architecture. The main thing you need to know is that it makes sure data has the most direct path possible. Any piece of equipment is only ever one hop away from any other piece of equipment. Imagine a road system with no traffic lights, no stop signs, and no intersections. That's what this is for data. And when you're live on air, that kind of speed is non-negotiable. All right, so we've got the network. But before a single frame of video hits the air, the system has to solve a really interesting puzzle. It has to manage this constant tug of war between raw, blistering speed and absolute pinpoint precision. And that's where the magic of timing comes in. It's a real balancing act. So here's the fundamental problem, the core challenge. The network has to be two things at once. First, it's got to be like a hummingbird. Super fast, super responsive, right? We're talking delays so small you measure them in microseconds for things like live switching. But at the exact same time, it has to be a freight train, powerful enough to haul these gigantic video files around for editing. And the craziest part, the hummingbird and the freight train have to be perfectly, and I mean perfectly synchronized at all times. And the secret sauce that makes all this synchronization happen? It's a technology called Precision Time Protocol, or PTP for short. I love this analogy. Think of it as the invisible conductor of this massive digital orchestra. It's tapping its baton and making sure every single camera, every microphone, every video player is hitting its note at the exact right microsecond. Without PTP, you get chaos, glitches, audio that doesn't match the video. It's a disaster. PTP is honestly the unsung hero of the whole operation. Okay, let's step inside the studio now because this is where things get really interesting. There's a huge shift happening right now. We're witnessing this fascinating collision of two completely different worlds, old school broadcast engineering and modern IT. And this right here, this is the shift that's changing everything. For decades, it was all about that model on the left, these big, expensive, single-purpose machines. You bought a box that did one thing, and that's all it did. But the future, what you see on the right, is all about using standard, off-the-shelf IT gear. We're talking about the same kinds of servers and network switches that power your favorite websites. And here's the real game changer. It means your workflow becomes software-defined. Want your machine to do something different? You don't buy a new machine. You just update the software. The jump in flexibility and cost savings is just enormous. But, and this is a big but, you can't just flip a switch and make this change overnight. Nope. As the research makes really clear, this is a super complex journey that can take years. So what you have in most TV stations right now is this kind of hybrid environment. You've got the old traditional gear sitting right next to the new IP-based systems, and you need special gateway boxes just to make them talk to each other. As you can imagine, trying to figure out where a signal went wrong in a system like that can be a real headache. And this is where it all comes together, the control room. It's the perfect picture of that hybrid complexity we were just talking about. You've got these specialized, hands-on control panels that producers have used for years, right next to a wall of standard computer monitors showing network data and server stats. It's the old world and the new world working side by side, hopefully in perfect harmony. Because when you're live, there is absolutely, positively no room for error. The pressure in this room is just immense. All right, so we've seen the studio. Now let's talk about what happens when you have to take this entire operation and pack it up and move it. We're talking about remote broadcasts. This is easily one of the most complex things in all of broadcasting. You basically take all the challenges we just discussed and multiply them by 10, and then add a bunch of new ones for good measure. Just think about a big live sports broadcast. It's not just a few cameras. It's literally like building an entire TV station from scratch in a stadium parking lot. You're deploying 20-plus cameras, dozens and dozens of microphones. You're running complex graphics, instant replays, the whole shebang. A lot of the time, that remote setup is generating just as much data and content as the main studio back home, and it all has to be managed right there on site and then beamed back home flawlessly. And one of the biggest headaches? Wireless. You're in this environment that is just saturated with radio signals. I'm talking hundreds of wireless devices, all fighting for a clean channel. The coaches' headsets, stadium security, other TV crews, the fans' cell phones. In that chaos, just finding one clean, open frequency for your sideline reporter's microphone or a wireless camera becomes this massive technical puzzle. The engineers on site basically have to become RF detectives to make it all work without interference. So when you see this constant march away from specialized hardware and towards these flexible network-based systems, it leads you to a really fascinating question about what's next. I mean, if all the key parts of production can be run by software over a network, does the studio of the future even need walls? Does it have to be a single physical place anymore? At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Success in television, today and definitely tomorrow, comes down to mastering this convergence. It's about bringing together two totally different mindsets: the frame-accurate, it absolutely cannot fail precision that comes from broadcast engineering, and the amazing flexibility and scalability that comes from the world of IT. Nailing that combination, getting that blend just right, that's the key to everything we've talked about.